It's 4runner time again. Now, since the last episode, we've tidied up those U-bolts. We've cut them down and tidied that up. We've plumbed in the snorkel. I'm also going to put in a chromoly rock rod. So we've got the wheels off the ground. Now the rock rods are a lot thicker, they're chromoly, and the tie rod ends are much bigger. They're off a Land Cruiser 80 series. But it's actually Bullet Truck's spare one that we're going to be putting under the 4runner. Okay, so we undo the nut, we undo the steering damper nuts. Bit of a bushy's way of doing it. That's why I leave the nut on, so that when it does come off, it'll stay on the nut. Okay, here's the spare Snake Racing one we had in Bullet Truck spares. As you can see, much thicker, it's chromoly, bigger tie rod ends, greasable. You're not going to bend this in a hurry. Okay, so I know she drove well. She was good in the steering. So as far as the length of this rod, I'm basically just going to go center of tie rod to center of tie rod. And with the Snake Racing one, they're totally adjustable. Get it on, lock the nuts, drive it off. We line it up with a hole for the split pin. Split pin on. Another thing I like to do is I put a mark on the lock nut and the rod, and that way I can keep a visual check to make sure that nothing's moving out of the ordinary. Nothing wrong with that grill. That's a typical LN65 or LN64 on a grill. 83 to 87 or late 86. But then 87, 88 in the Hiluxes, you could get this. It was the YN67 SR5. You could get it in chrome or you could just get it in grey. I had it in grey on the truck I took to Cape York. But I found these three individual pieces separately through 3 different people. So it was another score, another really hard to find item. So have a look at that grill. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's a nice grill. We all know I like my chrome and my grills and badges. So there's the LX Tirana one. The old grill goes on show up there in the garage. Now this is when we get to the expensive part of the build. We're lucky enough that over the years we've won a handful of ARB products. So we've got a couple of air compressors there. We'll grab one of them and fit it up. There's a pump up kit there too. So that'll work the lockers. Toyota's L series motor is basically bulletproof. I've had every one of them. The L, which was the 2.2, the 2L, which is the 2.4, the 3L, which is a 2.8, and a 5L. So in 20 years, I've probably killed 2 of them. They're indestructible. But where I've been let down before, if we have a look up here, so 99% of the time, these things will run upside down back to front. The one time that you're in the bush where you do pick up a bit of air, the original hand primer pump, the diaphragm does let go. I'm so lucky that I've got my friend there at Toyota, picked up a genuine primer pump. They still make them for the 2Ls. So that's the rubber seal in there that also goes. And again, a genuine seal. So it's flat and dried up. So it should be quite a bit more round. You can totally feel it pumping. Oh, that's hard now. So that means we got diesel. We'll check for leaks. No leaks. So the old windscreen wipers were pretty shabby. They looked horrible and they didn't work. So because these were genuine arms, I freshly painted them. But the blade I got from my friend at Toyota, these are genuine. They come with the rubber already in it. Oh, they work like a dream. I want to move that bottom shock mount So everyone's telling me that the angle's wrong on these as far as comfort on the road. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run a different length shock. I found another length shock which I want to trial out in the bush. I'm chasing a little bit more down travel. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this on 30 mil away from that one. And the experiment is it more comfortable on road, the straighter the shock? And will I get more down travel? People always say to me, why didn't you just leave it? It's only 10 mil here or 10 mil there. Nah, I'm a sucker. I'm trying to get the maximum out of it. I'm also going to put a heavier duty bush in with a different bolt. That's going to be tighter in there, so I'm going to have less play on bumps on road. Now we've shortened that up 50 mil. That was 140 there before. And then moving that over, the 50 odd mil has shortened that the same. Not only that, the new bush and bigger bolt, look at that, that's like a factory shock mount now. As opposed to, I didn't show you beforehand, but as opposed to, see the plate in that? So I'm trying to get every last centimetre out of it. Now, I've shortened the up travel, which hopefully the tyre hits the chassis anyway, so that acts as a bump stop, which isn't, you know, correct, but I'm not going to bottom out on that, I don't think. And then what that's doing, it's forcing the other side down a bit further. So I've gained another 50 mil of down travel in theory on the other side, if it works. All these little things to me make a difference, you know, like this is my build, and I want to do it a particular way. Like this bash plate, I mean the old one was bent and I couldn't find another LN60, so this is off an IFS. We had to modify brackets to get it to fit. I've got a little bit more clearance between the bottom of this and the tank, but for me that's giving us a little bit of a skid for a while, because when these things touch each other, it's hell to drive. It's a vibration that you just don't want to know about. So Bullet Truck started its life with one of these, and then it ended up 15 litres less diesel in it, and so we ended up going with a cell. But we just can't go with a cell in this truck. At least now I'm going to have my own opinion and experience on both angles and what's more comfortable on the road, instead of having to read it on forums. So something to look forward to. So at these low speeds, I've not felt a difference in comfort on road. What I'll do is when it stops raining, I'll stick GoPro underneath and we'll have a closer look at how the shocks are actually moving up and down. Speaking of rain, I'll turn these off for a second, let the window fill up. Turn these off for a second and have a look at this. Brand new, genuine blades. Unbelievable. So much stuff for the 85 4runner has been discontinued, but Michael was able to find me some blades. Amazing. So moving into the last episode, we'll be looking at traction aids. Bullet Truck spare transfer with the 4.7 reduction gears. This milk crate's been up and down the east coast of New South Wales and into Queensland as a spare for Bullet Truck. It's got a brand new ARB air locker in it. These are factory 4.5 gears, and that'll be going in the rear. We've got one behind here for the front with brand new Longfield CVs. So that episode will be probably the final one before we actually take it bush. So thanks for watching.